Hi, scholars. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, May 13th. Today is your quiz on multiplying and dividing fractions. Tons of 100% yesterday, so we'll do those shout outs in just 1 second. Today, we are going to just review a couple problems that look exactly like what you'll see on your quiz, so you are very prepared to ace that. And then I want to point out your spiral review, your last one of 5th grade, for those of you going on to 6th grade next year. And the last one you'll have to do that will be assigned today and will be due next Thursday. As a reminder, today is our quiz on multiplying and dividing fractions. Tomorrow, we're going to start our last piece of math review and work on that Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, May 20th. Next Wednesday will be your final assessment of 5th grade, and then we'll do something really fun Thursday and Friday, and then you're done with 5th grade and done with elementary school. Pretty cool. As a reminder, I also have a special announcement I've just been dying to share with you guys. It's a separate video. It is posted in today's assignment, so you may have already watched it. If not, finish your math, but do make sure you watch it. Just some really exciting news I am very excited to share with you. Let's go ahead and dive into shoutouts for 100% for yesterday. In UNC, huge shoutouts to Kamaya, Jasmine, Lyric, Annalie, and Ajane. All ladies, interesting. In SCU, shoutouts to Corday, Howell, Giovanna, Amelia, Abmael, Aiden, Philip, and Ricardo. Excellent work, SCU. And in Duke, Larry, and Edwin. So all of these scholars, I could tell, were watching the videos carefully, doing the math along with them, coming to reteach, coming to office hours, all of those great things that just make you so successful in math. All right, let's take a look at just what a couple of problems are going to look like on your quiz today. We have been working on both dividing and multiplying fractions. Make sure you have your scrap paper out. You're going to solve these along with me. If you get a 100% right now, you are in great shape to get 100% on your quiz. All right, so starting with just some straight number sentences. Problem number 1. We know 2 strategies. Let's go ahead and copy down our problem exactly the way it's written. 1/7 divided by 5. You may be a scholar who loves to draw a model and you want to draw out your 1/7. Split it into those 5 pieces to divide it by 5 and then figure out the size of one piece. That's a great strategy. Or you may be a scholar who really liked using the keep, change, flip, and you want to keep your first number, change your division to multiplication, and flip your second number. Whichever strategy you want to use, go ahead and solve it. I'll be solving it up here. Can't wait to see how you solve it on your paper. All right, let's check in and see what you got. I solved it both ways. You only need to solve it one. If I were to draw my model, I know I'm starting with just 1/7. So I'm starting with a really small piece. I have to split that small piece and share it with 5 people. So now I know my piece is getting even smaller. Once I split my 1/7 into 5 pieces, I looked at one piece. The size of one piece compared to the whole is 1/35 of the whole. Another way I could have solved it that I know a lot of you were really successful with yesterday is using my keep, change, flip. I kept my 1/7 exactly the same. I changed my division into multiplication. And I flipped my 5 to be the inverse. So when I flip 5, I know 5 is the same as 5 over 1, not 5 over 5. 5 over 5 equals 1. If I want to have 5 wholes, my denominator has to be 1. And when I take the inverse of that, I'm left with 1/5. When I multiplied 1/7 times 1/5, I got 1/35. Same answer, two different ways. If you got 1/35, go ahead and give yourself a check. All right, let's try number 2. Now, number 2, we're going back to some fraction multiplication. We have 2 strategies for this. Make sure you've copied it onto your paper. We have 4 2/3 times 1/5. Some of us love using our array to do partial products, and some of us love turning our mixed number into an improper fraction. You're also welcome to draw it out if that strategy works better for you. I'm going to solve it in 2 different ways, one using partial products with an array and one using converting my mixed number into an improper fraction. Go ahead and solve it the way you like to solve, and then you can check your answer with mine. All right, let's check in and see what you got. When I solved it using partial products, I drew my array and I split 4 2/3. So I have 4 and I have 2/3 because I know I need to multiply both of those, each of those by 1/5. When I did that, I got 4/5 and 2/15. I needed to add those together. In order to do that, I needed to find a common denominator. And this led me to an answer of 14/15. Another way that many of us like to solve is by turning our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So if I wanted to do that, I would have turned 4 2/3 into 14/3. Now I can multiply using my standard algorithm times 1/5, and I got 14/15. Same answer, 2 different ways. All right, last problem. Let's go ahead and try problem number 3. Go ahead and get it set up on your paper. It's another division problem. So I'm copying it down exactly. Again, we have 2 strategies. We could draw a model, drawing how many that we're starting with and then thinking about how we're splitting it. Or I could use my keep, change, flip. Go ahead and pick the strategy that you like. Solving it on your own. If you can do these now, you are going to ace your quiz. All right, let's check in. When I drew my model, I drew 9 holes because that's how many I start with. I split each of them into 4ths. It's like saying I have those 9 cakes. Everybody gets 1/4 of a cake. How many people can I serve? Well, I know that that's actually the same as doing 9 times 4. So if I wanted to do my keep, change, flip, we would have 9 times 4. And so my answer either way is 36. If you got all 3 of those correct, first of all, give yourself a check if you got 36. Nice work. If you got all 3 of those correct, you are in phenomenal shape to ace your quiz today. Almost done. Let's take a look at how this might look in word problem form. Now, with word problems, remember that if you're a little bit stuck about, wait, am I multiplying? Am I dividing? A couple things you can do. One, draw it out. Even if you're not exactly sure if it's multiplying or dividing, if you draw a model, you can get to the right answer. We also know some of those clue words when we have a fraction of another fraction, it's asking us to multiply. So I might even just make myself a note on my paper right here. So like 1/4 of 1/2 just means 1/4 times 1/2. So that of is equivalent to multiplication when we're talking about those fractions. All right, let's take a look at question number 1. So Anaya and Anthony are going out for a run. Anaya is in great shape. She has been training. She's crushing it. So she runs 8.5 miles. Anthony has not been training quite as hard. He gets a little bit tired as he's running. So he only runs 1/4 of the distance that Anaya ran. And we want to figure out how far did Anthony run. Now, this is the type of word problem that seems to give us the most trouble. I want us to really visualize what's going on. If we need to draw out Anaya's 8.5 miles, go ahead and do that. I know Anthony, he didn't run 1/4 mile. That's not what it's asking. In fact, my question is asking, how far did Anthony run? And in order for me to figure out how far he ran, I need to figure out, well, what is 1/4 of the distance Anaya ran, or 1/4 of 8.5 miles? That's all the clues I'm going to give you. Go ahead and solve. You can write an equation. You can draw a model. Take 20 more seconds, whichever strategy you picked. All right, let's take a look. The first way I solved this was just using partial products. I know this is a multiplication problem. If Anthony ran 1/4 of the miles that Anaya ran, it's 1/4 of her 8.5 miles, and so I'm multiplying. I know that Anthony ran less than Anaya, right? Anaya ran these 8.5 miles. Anthony only ran 1/4 of that amount, so he ran less. When I solved using partial products and multiplying, after I added up my products, I got to an answer of 2 1/8. So Anthony ran 2 1/8 miles. Another way I could have solved that is using a strategy where I turned my mixed number into an improper fraction. I turned 8 1/2 into 17/2. Now I can multiply straight across, giving me 17/8, which I can reduce to 2 1/8. Same answer, Anthony ran 2 1/8 miles. Finally, I drew a model. This is what I may have done if I was a little bit stuck and I wasn't sure I should multiply. So I drew out the 8 miles, the 8.5 miles that Anaya ran. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's her 8 miles, and here's her half mile. I crossed this mile out, or this half mile out, because she didn't run that half of a mile. Now, Anthony ran 1/4 of every mile Anaya ran. So I split all of my miles into fourths, including my half mile, and shaded in the amount that Anthony ran. I then was able to count 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4. So Anthony ran 8/4 plus 1/8. I know this piece is not a whole fourth because it's just 1/8 of the whole. And so I got to an answer of 2 1/8 miles. 3 different ways, same answer either way. If you got 2 1/8, nice work. Go ahead and give yourself a check. Let's take a look at problem number 2. Jaden has 2 gallons of soda. How many 1/10 of a gallon servings can he pour? All right, try it on your own. You can draw a model. You can solve using a standard algorithm. Make sure you know, am I multiplying? Am I dividing? Really visualize what's going on. I always like to ask myself, can Jaden make more or less than 2 servings of soda? If he has 2 gallons of soda and each serving is 1/10 of a gallon. All right, go ahead and get to work solving. All right, let's check in and see what we did. The first thing I did is I just drew a model. I drew Jaden's 2 gallons of soda, and he's pouring cups of soda that are 1/10 of a gallon of soda. So that means each gallon can actually serve 10 kids. So I split my gallons into 10 servings to be like Jaden would have this 1/10 of a gallon right here. Maybe Anaya would have this 1/10 of a gallon. She's probably thirsty after all that running. Anthony might have this 1/10 of a gallon. And so when I counted up all the servings, he can actually serve 20 people and make 20 servings with his 2 gallons of soda. I know this is asking me to start with his 2 gallons, and divide by 1/10. So another way of thinking of that is 2 times 10. If each gallon of soda is being split into tenths, it's the same as multiplying. Each gallon of soda has 10 servings, and that got me to 20. If I had tried to multiply 2 times 1/10, I would have gotten to an answer of 2/10. And then I would really need to ask myself, okay, does this make sense in the context of the problem? Jaden has 2 whole gallons of soda. He's pouring out servings that are 1/10. Does it make sense that he can only pour 2/10 of a serving? That's not even a whole serving. That doesn't make sense. He's not serving 2/10 of a kid. This does not make sense. So even if I had been a little bit tricked, if I go back and think about it in my story, I realize that just does not make sense. He can actually serve 20 cups of soda. All right, last one, number 3. Madeline has 3/5 of a bottle of soda. She drinks 2/3 of her remaining soda. How much soda did she drink? All right, no clues here. I want to see what you can do. You're going to have problems like this on your quiz. Go ahead and solve it by either drawing a model, using a standard algorithm, whatever works for you. All right, let's check in and see what you did. When I read this, I was thinking, okay, Madeline has soda, Jaden has soda. Is this another division problem? And then I thought really carefully about what was happening. So I drew out exactly what Madeline has. Madeline started with 3/5 of a gallon of soda. So when Jaden started with 2 gallons of soda, I drew out the 2 gallons of soda that he started with. Madeline is only starting with 3/5. So here are the 3/5, and I lightly shaded in the 3/5 that she has. I crossed out the 2/5. She doesn't have that soda at all. Now it says Madeline, she drank 2/3 of her remaining soda. So in my model, I had to show 2/3 of the soda she still had left. Then I was able to figure out that this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of a total of what would have been 15 pieces from the whole gallon. So she drank 6/15 of a gallon of soda. I know that's the same as using my standard algorithm to solve 3/5 times 2/3. I'm not dividing my fraction here because she wasn't splitting her 3/5 with other people and handing it out. Instead, she was just drinking 2/3 of it. 2/3 of her soda. That of was a great clue, it was multiplication. And when I use my standard algorithm, I get to the same answer of 6/15. All right, that is it for math review for today. You now have your quiz to take where you're gonna have problems just like what we just practiced. And additionally, under daily lessons, you will see spiral review number 4. It starts today, May 13th, and it is due next Thursday, May 21st. And guess what? It's all about multiplying and dividing fractions. Today would be a great day to start. Your quiz shouldn't take you too long, so you have some time to start your spiral review now and just do a little bit of it each day until it's due next week. And as just a final reminder, don't forget to watch the announcement video that's listed in your classwork as well. All right, see you guys tomorrow.